If there's one rumor that's followed Jalen Rose around, it's the talk about his alleged racism. But there's another one, something many people believe actually led to his exit from ESPN. So let's not waste any time and get into what really went wrong behind the scenes. Here's how it all went down. It started with a moment on live TV that, at first, seemed harmless. Jalen Rose gave his co-worker Malika Andrews a quick hug, but viewers on social media zoomed in and claimed that Rose slipped his finger into her armpit during the hug. The clip blew up online, with people analyzing it frame by frame. What was just a split-second gesture turned into a trending controversy. While nothing was officially confirmed, that moment was mentioned by some as one of the possible reasons behind Rose's eventual exit from ESPN. But that wasn't the only controversy swirling around him. If you didn't catch it at the time, Rose also made headlines for something he said on ESPN's NBA Countdown. While discussing Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver, Rose claimed that Sarver once called DeAndre Ayton a lazy N-word. The problem? ESPN later came out and clarified that Sarver never actually said that. They explained that Rose wasn't quoting Sarver directly. He was trying to express how some people might interpret Sarver's behavior. Still, the damage was done. The comments sparked outrage and led to accusations that Rose had been irresponsible and reckless on air. Put those two moments together, the viral hug with Malika Andrews and the Sarver comment, and you can start to see how things may have gotten messy for Jalen Rose behind the scenes. Whether those were the real reasons for his departure or just part of a bigger picture, they definitely played a role in how the public viewed him during that time. But none of this takes away from his incredible career, because honestly, his journey in the game was something special. So let's keep it moving and take a look at everything he achieved on and off the court. In 1994, Jalen Rose was selected 13th overall by the Denver Nuggets in the NBA draft. For a young kid coming out of the legendary Fab Five squad at Michigan, the expectations were high. And while his rookie season didn't make major headlines, he still put up a solid 8.2 points and 2.0 rebounds per game across 81 games, starting in 37 of them. His second season showed a bit more growth, averaging 10 points and 2.7 rebounds. But even then, it felt like Jalen hadn't quite found the right fit in Denver. That all changed in 1996 when he was traded to the Indiana Pacers. The deal also included Reggie Williams and a future draft pick, with the Nuggets receiving Mark Jackson, Ricky Pierce, and a pick in return. On paper, it looked like a typical roster shakeup, but for Rose, this move would set the stage for the most important years of his playing career. At first, it wasn't all smooth sailing in Indiana. Under head coach Larry Brown, Rose struggled to find consistent minutes. He was often benched without explanation, logging what players called DNP-CDs. On top of that, he was stuck playing as a backup shooting guard or small forward, even though he believed his true position was point guard. It wasn't until Larry Bird took over coaching duties that Rose finally started to shine. Bird saw what Jalen brought to the floor and gave him the space to grow, eventually helping him realize that small forward was where he truly thrived. Once Rose settled into his role, the Pacers began to take off. He was instrumental in pulling the team out of a disappointing 1996-97 season and pushing them into 3 straight Eastern Conference Finals. By the 1999-2000 season, Jalen wasn't just a contributor. He was the leading scorer for Indiana, breaking Reggie Miller's 8-year streak. That year, he averaged 18.2 points per game and earned the NBA's Most Improved Player Award, the first ever for a Pacer. In the 2000 playoffs, Rose took his game to another level. He dropped 40 points in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Sixers, and in the finals, he averaged 25 points per game across 6 games against the Lakers. One standout performance was his 32-point explosion in Game 5, a game the Pacers won. But that series is also remembered for something more controversial. Rose intentionally stepped under Kobe Bryant while he was landing from a jump shot in Game 2. It caused an injury that kept Kobe out of Game 3. Rose later admitted to doing it on purpose, a moment that still stirs debate today. After 6 years in Indiana, Rose's journey took him to the Chicago Bulls in 2002. The trade also included Travis Best, Norman Richardson, and a draft pick, with the Pacers receiving Brad Miller, Ron Artest, Ron Mercer, and Kevin Ollie. In Chicago, Rose had some big moments, including a career-high 44-point game and a buzzer-beating shot in an overtime win against the Houston Rockets. But the Bulls were in a rebuilding phase, and wins were hard to come by. In the 2003-04 season, just 16 games in, Rose was traded again, this time to the Toronto Raptors. He was sent along with Donyell Marshall and Lonnie Baxter. One of the most talked about moments from his time in Toronto came on January 22, 2006. That was the night Kobe Bryant scored 81 points, the second highest in NBA history, and Jalen was one of the main defenders on the court. While Rose was far from the only one guarding Kobe, the connection stuck and later became a talking point in interviews and even comedic sketches he made. Not long after that game, the Raptors traded Rose to the New York Knicks in February 2006. The deal was mostly a salary dump. Toronto needed cap space, and Rose was making nearly $16 million a year. The Knicks got Rose, a first-round pick, in cash, while the Raptors picked up Antonio Davis to help with rebounding duties for Chris Bosh. Rose was reunited with coach Larry Brown, but his time in New York was short-lived. Later that year, Rose signed with the Phoenix Suns on a one-year, $1.5 million deal. By then, he was nearing the end of his playing career, and in 2007, he officially retired from the NBA. He walked away with averages of 14.3 points, 3.8 assists, and 3.5 rebounds per game. Not bad for someone who had constantly evolved and reinvented his role on every team he played for. But Rose's journey was far from over. Right after retirement, he jumped into broadcasting. He started as a sideline reporter for TNT during the 2006 NBA playoffs, and by 2007, he had joined ESPN and ABC as an analyst. Over the years, he became a familiar face on NBA Countdown, and even contributed to ESPN's Grantland Project. He wasn't just offering hot takes, he brought in-depth analysis, personality, and a sense of humor that set him apart from other former players turned broadcasters. Outside of broadcasting, Rose also built something impressive in the entertainment world. He founded 3-Tier Entertainment, a management and production company based in Los Angeles. Since 2007, the company has worked on TV, film, and talent management, helping bring creative projects to life. One of Rose's biggest moments in media came in 2011 when he produced ESPN's documentary, The Fab Five. It became the highest-rated documentary in ESPN history at the time, pulling in a 2.1 rating. It also reignited old tensions, especially between Michigan and Duke fans, leading to debates that spilled over into sports radio and social media for weeks. In 2015, Rose shared more of his personal story in his book, Got to Give the People What They Want. It became a New York Times bestseller and was later recognized as a Michigan notable book. He also became a co-host of the popular ESPN radio show, Jalen and Jacoby, which ran until late 2022. He brought his voice to Get Up, ESPN's morning sports show, and even sat on the panel of the game show to tell the truth alongside legends like Betty White and Nenny Leakes. But even with all that success, change was around the corner. In June 2023, ESPN went through a wave of cost-cutting layoffs, and Jalen Rose was one of the big names let go. Many fans were surprised, and some speculated it had more to do with past controversies than money. Still, Rose took the time away from TV in stride. After a year off, he came back strong. In 2024, he joined NBC Sports as a college basketball analyst and later appeared on TNT and NBA TV. He even landed a spot in the March Madness coverage for TNT and CBS in 2025, joining their number 7 commentary team and also contributing to the studio coverage with big names like Adam Lefkoe, Seth Davis, and Jay Wright. And that wraps up today's video. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so you never miss out on the latest updates. Catch you next time.